Welcome to The American Spectacle, a podcast dedicated to the art of American dance, exploring the past, present, and future of dance, and discussing ways to re-engage communities, young people, in the most American of all arts, dance.
Before we begin, what if one drink could carry the weight of a lifetime? The Dressing Drink, a memoir by Thomas King Flagg, peels back the layers of an orphan's legacy, blending beauty, heartbreak, and hard truths into one unforgettable story. The Dressing Drink, available now wherever books are sold.
Hi, hello. I'm Tom Flagg, the host of American Spectacle. I'm a longtime supporter and arts advocate of the art of dance. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Rafael Xavier. We've been friends for a long time, but I really consider Rafael to be one of the most exceptional, extraordinary people I know as a person, but the preeminent hip-hop choreographer. He's a transcendent breaker. He's accomplished so much, and now has his new film, Swerve, which will be screening this evening. And I'm very happy to have him here as our guest. Hello.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Well, thank you for traveling down during the hurricane. Here we are, and we're sheltering in place, and we're making it work. I'd like to get a little sense of how you got into the business, because you've taken a path that very few others have, and have been extraordinarily successful, traveled the world, teach hip-hop breaking at Princeton University, how many countries have you been in? How many, I can't even begin to list the list. So let's hear a little from you.
Well, you know me from Philadelphia, but I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. I didn't move to Philadelphia until 1998. I got into, the hip hop thing was something that was, before the name, it already existed, so to speak, right? Urban African-American culture, whether it's music, dance, or traditional cultures. And breaking came on Soul Train when I was about 12, 13 years old. And I was just immediately attracted to it. I'd never seen anything like that before. And living outside of the city, when I went to junior high that year, all the kids from the city were already doing it. So I was already behind. But I didn't know it was going to turn out to be what it was. So the friends and I from that area got together, started practicing to keep up with what we had, seen the other guys do. And every time I thought I was good, I'd go and I'd want to practice with them, but I just was not. I just didn't. I felt I didn't have it. By the time we got out of, that was 83. By the time we got out of junior high school, the dance was gone. You got expelled, actually, if you were caught doing it, because they felt like it was a liability if a kid got hurt on the premises. So they shut it all down. So I went to high school, was played out, and I, did sports. I rode my bike. I did everything, but breaking, for some reason, kept hanging around. And I just got into it deeper, and later on, and I think around 96, 97 or so, I came across a guy, some dancers in the company called Rennie Harris Pure Movement, and I auditioned for a piece called Roman Jules, which was a hip-hop version of Romeo and Juliet. And when I got involved in that show and that company, it was clear to me that all the things that I had in my head to put on stage with rap, the concepts of rap music and breaking was possible. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know what you could do with it. And it was at that moment I realized, like, I could make this work for me. And I just took that path. Whatever that path was, I just went in that direction, and it worked out in my favor.
Well, you're very holistic too. You're an artist, you're a rhymer, a rapper, a dancer, choreographer, and you're a great cook. I know
Only
that's
because
true.
I'm eating it.
Yeah. But so there was this emergence of a whole diaspora, a whole culture, a whole up and coming. So how did you play within those differentials?
I didn't know what I couldn't do,
Mm.
right? I only know what I could do. I knew what I could do. And at that time, you did everything. You weren't stuck in a box, or you didn't have a label saying you're only this or you're only that. So coming up, I was allowed to do whatever I wanted to do. And I kept doing that. I just found interest in those things. And so as I got older, I started picking up different things, but they were still all associated with how I got into the hip hop box. I went to school. I took art classes and photography classes and writing classes. I did all that. And then as hip hop started to, I won't say evolve, but as it started to grow in its different directions, all that stuff I learned as a kid went into building those things,
Mm.
understanding how to make beats, understanding how to take pictures, graffiti, compose concepts and ideas. All that stuff played a part in where I went, the direction that I took. So when I got to the theater, when I got to the stage, it was just pulling from the writing, pulling from the visual arts, pulling from the movement, pulling from my environment, and all that stuff started to gel. And it's just, I think it comes, I'm not gonna say I think, I know it comes from being curious as a kid and maturing with that curiosity. And I think the thing that's missing in this culture is the maturity. People are in this place of still, let's say, childish intents. And I was allowed to figure out how to mature in the things that I practiced, and they all had a place to congregate and evolve into the artist that I am now, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. But along the way, there are these things called challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges in the culture, challenges in putting food in your mouth, challenges in a lot of challenges. And those challenges take a lot of people down quick.
Yeah.
And they never took you down. I guess I sort of want to honor your inner God, your inner discipline, because you kept on track and you didn't fall to the side.
Mm.
And you kept discipline is the word that comes to me. But where did that discipline come from?
Maybe patience,
Mm.
having the time to sit at something and figure it out. Puzzles, Rubik's Cubes, friendships.
Right.
But it was patience that played a part in the discipline, I think. Because you weren't going to figure that stuff out overnight. And when people gave up after they couldn't figure it out, I just kept, I'll figure it out. Also, I don't say this much because it gets a little personal and emotional sometimes. I was not the kid who fit in with everyone else, right? And so by doing what I did, my response to being left out was wait until you see what I can do. And so I would focus on developing a craft or making my craft better. And then I would present it, and then they were like, yeah, whatever. And then the next group, okay, wait till you see what I can do. So I'd find something else. I kept doing that, and I never knew how to turn it off. So as I got older, all the things that I did as a kid played a part as an adult in retreating to whenever I had an issue with someone or whenever I didn't fit in a certain group of people.
Mm-hmm.
I made something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those things were the stage was an empty canvas for me to place those things that I've created. So it's patience. I feel like it's patience that helped me develop that sense of discipline.
And patience is something I've heard about, but I don't have any. I have no. It's probably the number. I pray for patience every morning. That is part of my prayers. But there's also a deep sense of inner confidence when you have patience, because you know there will be an outcome. You have confidence in that outcome. And that's rare or almost impossible. So where did that little ding come from?
I'm not quite sure, but I know that I always had a vision of a thing or place. And so I worked towards that, right? If I wanted to make a book, for example, I was going to take enough pictures to where I felt like this is book worthy. Then I'd make the book. Or if I was going to write a song, I'd say I'm going to make an album. So I'd make enough songs to get an album and then make the album. So I always saw a point of destination. I won't say an end result, but it was a point of destination. I knew I wanted to make a dance theater show with rap and breaking. So I did those things. I learned how to create choreography and place things on stage in a space that made sense. And then I had a show. So I saw a point of destination and I worked towards that destination. The funny thing is I never thought about money, which was a downfall in a sense. But because I never thought about money, I just did it. Didn't take me money to do it. I just did it. I didn't think about how much money I was going to get once I made the thing. I just did it. So when I finally understood how grants worked, and I had those things
you do understand. You do understand.
I was like, oh, there's money. There's money on the end of that, right? Money at the end of the rainbow. So I create the rainbow, and then there's money there. But anyway, so because I never attached money to anything, I didn't have a reason not to do it. There was no excuse not to do it. I'm not getting paid for it. I can't make any money at it. I'm just going to do it. And so when I got the money, that was an incredible feeling of payoff that I didn't expect. So then, then I could take that money and put it wherever I needed to put it to do the things that didn't take money in the first place. So it was all fun. It was all part of the ball of rubber bands.
Yeah, but you never thought small either. You went out to LA, you worked as an actor out there. I mean, that's not a small step.
Yeah.
That's a big step. But it helped, I'm sure, shade some of the path that you're on now. So that path is an extraordinary, lauded short, which your first that you've directed, and it's already winning awards. And we're so excited that we're going to have it here in Florida. Can you tell us a little about Swerve?
Yes. Swerve was based on a true story after meeting a kid who was part of the Philadelphia wheelie culture. If you're unfamiliar with that, there's a lot of kids on giant 26, 29-inch BMX bikes that a company called SE Bikes remade some years ago, and it became popular. So as a rider, I was riding BMX bikes when I was a kid. I still ride today. I met some older guys my age who were going out on these weekly rides. Every Sunday, some older guys get together and we go out and just ride through the city, have breakfast together. It was a real, communal thing. And Eli, his name is Elijah Salter, was hanging out with us. He was 19 at the time. And I was like, why is this little kid hanging out with 50-plus-year-old men? So at the time, this was 220, I met him in 219. In 220, I was on my way to do a new show that was about to go on the road, and COVID happened. So it shut down the tour. And I didn't have anything else to do. Well, I had a lot to do, but I didn't have anything I was focused on. Nobody was going anywhere. So the bike became the thing to get on. I can go outside, hang around friends. And when all of this stuff happened, again, I retreated to what I knew. Let's write. Let's make something. Let's create something. And I just started writing this story, and it just happened. There's so many little things in that turned into the big thing. The first thing was meeting Eli. The second thing was COVID. The third thing was having those unexpected resources to pull from to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been writing screenplays too since the 90s by hand. I didn't know computer, know any of that. I was just writing it because I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so that stuff came in handy. A friend of mine named Gary Dordan, who's also an actor, came by the house one day at that time, and he saw Eli on my couch. And he's like, yo, what's up with that kid on your couch? And I said, he was homeless kind of. He was sleeping on the street in the tunnels. He didn't have a job. He didn't have nothing. And he was like, that's the story, right? I was like, yeah, I'm already on it. So by that time, it was 3 months in, and I already had like a whole feature-length script. So I reached out to someone at one of my students at Princeton, and I asked her, did she know anybody in the film department? And she gave me a guy's name, Adam Hazelton, who was about to graduate, I think that following year. And we talked, and he was like, listen, man, I love the script. I can help you put this together. And he put together a whole crew of people. It might have been like 15 crew members.
Oh.
And I put the audition out and auditioned some people. And that year in October 21, we shot it.
Wow. So that also is the precursor to a feature.
Yes. Yes.
Which is the point.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Or a series. I'd love to do a series to tell those stories, and it's about what was happening in Philadelphia. It was a lot of gun violence, misdirected youth, misguided youth, and the whole mentorship. Like I've always thought about, and you're a big advocate for this too, for putting kids in the right direction or in an environment that can help them move forward progressively, productively, creatively, in better ways than they are.
We want to ascend, not descend.
Yeah, exactly. So this is really about that. I met Eli, and I tried to help him go in a better
ascend.
direction,
Yeah.
and that was that. There's another kid named Jaden Alexander who actually plays Eli. He's a great actor. Everybody in the film was their first time acting. But it's if you meet a kid, my thing has always been, if you meet a kid halfway at something that they're interested in, you have a better chance of helping them, make detours in bad directions.
Yeah. Maybe we could speak a little bit too, because we've worked together. You've been so supportive and kind and generous, and you bring your resources, which are amazing, to kids. And, kids in York, Pennsylvania, kids in Philadelphia, kids. You've helped many, many, many kids. But, so not only is your own creative self going in all these directions, but you share that with kids and inspire the heck out of kids. You really do. I think they all look at you and go,
Yeah.
"Oh," like they're not sure. They're not sure what's going to happen, And you do great things. Could you talk a little about the youth?
Well, I'll start by saying I was a kid too, right? And there's something about me that still has that kid at heart, so to speak. So I feel like I can relate to them in a way that I needed to be related to when I was a kid. My mom gave me a lot of freedom to be able to do what I wanted to do. All I had to do was homework, and when I had a job, just go to work. That's it. She was strict, but it wasn't so strict. I didn't have enough freedom to do what I wanted. And I think that played a very important role in the kind of person I am kind of creative person I am. So I tried to take those things and that same thing that was instilled in me and offer it to kids that I feel I might have something in common with, especially now, whether it's rap or music or riding bike, dancing, or just, I mean, even, I don't want to sound ignorant, but even with girls, like I'll be with Eli, I'd be like, yo, man, that's a nice girl, for you. And we'll start laughing and stuff. But I know that he knows, and I'm only kidding. And I'm not going to push him in a direction that doesn't make sense. So when he needs something, he can talk to me. If he wants to go somewhere, or he has a kid now, so if he can't, pay for diapers or whatever, he can call me and I'll give him what he needs with words. I'm not just going to give you $1.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you $1 and I'm going to give you some advice.
And
he takes it. And he takes it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to push a finger and be like, I told you, and you're not supposed to, and you're a kid. I'm gonna offer myself to a conversation. Let's go ride. Let's go get something to eat. Let's go listen to some music. Let's go to the movies. And I put them in an environment where they're comfortable enough to talk to me. Right? I'm not going to put them in a place where they feel tense and like, I got to watch what I'm going to say or watch what I'm going to do. We're going to go into an environment where everybody's relaxed. We joke around, and now say what you need to say. It's just going to come out. And they're going to accept it because of the place I put them in. And I really think it's important that we have a space for kids to be themselves, not to be what everyone else expects them to be, but be themselves. And that's where we meet them where they are. And once we do that, we can expand in any direction of where they want to go, and they'll take our advice on how to navigate that space.
Yeah, I think this is a conversation I could have had with you in the 1980s, the 1990s, but now we have an interruption in that organic conversation. It's called technology. That changes everything.
It does.
That is the game changer.
It does.
Sometimes in a positive way, but as far as kids are concerned, most often in a negative way. Socialization, the inactivity, the perception of activity, but actually inactivity, because you're watching somebody dance. Look, I'm dancing. No, you're not dancing. That is dance. There's this void of being present and all the things that you are, all the things that you learned coming up. Step into it, step onto the mat, wrap your arms around it, engage, patience. But these are elements that are almost disappearing now with kids.
Yeah.
How do we make that better?
I'm not sure. I feel like that technology that you're talking about is the same idea of technology that I had as a kid. It just wasn't as advanced. When it snowed outside, when it rained or we couldn't go out, we played Atari or ColecoVision and television. Like, we had those things where we could sit and be engaged, right? Our friends come over and we'd play. The only comparison to anything that we had was each other in that moment. I compared myself to the dude who was sitting right next to me.
Right.
I didn't have a massive amount of the world to compare myself to and feel less confident because I don't have that, or I can't do that, or I want to do that. They're getting this instant attention and gratification. That kind of thing didn't exist on that scale. But if I got to the end of a game, or if I beat the monster, my instant gratification was right here next to me, not this intangible thing that I put in my pocket and take with me. It went away.
Right,
when my friend went home, it went away.
That's a big point.
With this, it's on me the whole time.
You just strap it onto your back. But
it's always, and you're thinking about that. Let me go take a picture. Boom, heart.
Instant,
right?
Instant. Yeah.
And so I don't know how to say combat that. I don't know what would help to fix that.
Well, you certainly inspire so many people through everything you do, and we're so excited that you could be here in Florida so that we could suffer the hurricane together. This will be fun. I got lots of Progresso soup. That's great. But we're excited this evening for our screening, and I just keep hearing great things about Swerve, and I know that it's going to keep going up, and something great's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
Because you're a great man, and we need more men like you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rafael Xavier. If you enjoyed today's episode, please join us for upcoming podcasts, where we'll speak to some of the most consequential voices in the dance world. For more information, you can go to my website, thomaskflagg.com. In addition, you can find me on all social media platforms. If you want to learn more about me and my unique journey, please check out my book, The Dressing Drink. It chronicles my early life and efforts to better understand my parents, both entertainers in their own right. I'm Thomas Flagg, and thank you for joining us today.